Welcome to Sens Talk. My name is Brandon, and I'm your host. Before we get started, please follow us on Twitter at @SensTalk_ for live stream updates of the games and, of course, breaking news. As well, please check out our website, SensTalkCentral.com, and our sponsor, cjohn.ca. Using the code SensTalk to get discounts on all tickets on the website in Canadian dollars. We have a couple of Senators news that came today. It's been for an off-season for an NHL team. It's been quite an eventful day alone, and we're going to talk about Randy Lee first and the situation he's in currently. Before we get the video even started, Bruce Garriock, at @SunGarriock on Twitter, just tweeted this out. Very, very intriguing. Some Senators prospect potentially news. Philip Zadina says he's flying to Ottawa Tuesday to meet with General Manager Pierre Dorion and the rest of the staff, probably not including Randy Lee, as we will see what happens there, and you'll see after this part, you'll see that in this video. But that was just tweeted out. I wanted to throw that in. Now let's talk about this awful situation with Randy Lee. So last night at apparently around 10:30 p.m. in Buffalo, the Senators were at an NHL event. Randy Lee, the assistant general manager for the Ottawa Senators, was obviously there. He requested a shuttle to go back to his hotel in Buffalo that night. And that night, allegedly, of course, he's not guilty until proven guilty. But right now, it does not look good for him. There's a lot of evidence stacked up against him, and it's just a repulsive, creepy kind of story here. We'll get into it right now. This is from the Sportsnet article that was written. Ottawa Senators assistant general manager Randy Lee is accused of inappropriately touching and making lewd comments toward a hotel shuttle driver while in Buffalo for the NHL scouting combine. Lee was charged with second-degree harassment on Friday after being arrested and spending the night in jail. He appeared in court where his Canadian passport was confiscated and was scheduled to appear again on Monday, which is next week. Lee faces a fine and up to 15 days in jail, though Erie County District Attorney John Flynn said he doesn't expect to pursue jail time. The Senator said in a statement that the team officials knew of the arrangement and were reviewing the situation. It's unclear whether Lee has an attorney. He did not appear with an attorney at his arraignment and is no longer staying at that hotel where the alleged incident occurred. Flynn said Lee was attending an NHL function Wednesday night as part of the league's pre-draft scouting combine being held in Buffalo when he requested a shuttle to transport him back to his hotel. Lee first asked the 19-year-old male driver if he could sit in the front seat of the van, and then he made lewd comments while placing his hands on the driver's shoulders, Flynn said. When the driver told him to stop, Lee persisted and began rubbing the man's shoulder, Flynn continued to say. As they arrived at the hotel about 10 minutes later, Lee allegedly made a reference to his own private parts and made a vulgar, lewd statement, according to Flynn. The driver was obviously shaken up by this, Flynn said. Flynn said the man immediately reported what happened to the hotel security chief. Lee is barred from going to the hotel and having any interaction with that driver. Flynn said he's not aware of any alcohol being involved during that incident. I've got a 19-year-old victim here who probably thinks it's a cool thing to get an assistant general manager of a hockey team in a car, Flynn said. What's not cool is what happened, and that's why Mr. Lee is going to have to answer for this uncool behavior. Lee spent 23 seasons with the Senators and just completed his fourth as assistant general manager for the Senators. And it goes on to say how he's promoted after Tim Murray and how he overshadows and covers the Belleville Senators. I have the official press release from the Senators here, so here's a statement from the Ottawa Senators. We've been made aware of Randy Lee's arraignment in Buffalo. The Ottawa Senators will always hold all members of the organization to the highest standards of behavior, regardless of the environment in which they operate. To this end, we are reviewing the situation with the greatest of care and will provide an update as soon as one is possible. This story, it's just a creepy story. It's disgusting to touch somebody that does not want to be touched anyway. But going away from the side of the creepiness of the alleged incident that Lee had, going to the hockey side of things, because I think we all can agree that what Lee did is wrong, considering the shuttle driver didn't want that to happen and he persisted anyway. That's wrong. But I think on the hockey side of the thing, still not proven guilty. Until proven guilty, he's still innocent technically, but there's a lot of reports. Some apparently Travis Yost said something about how there was other people that saw it. I don't know. We'll see what happens Monday, but you know what? I don't see how Randy Lee does not get fired for this. Even if he's likely, in my opinion, the likelihood is he will not be proven. I don't think he's going to be innocent. I think he's going to be guilty. There's just a lot of evidence showing that this actually occurred. He's not guilty until proven guilty, but he's still innocent right now. But it's an awful thing. But as well for the Sanders franchise, it makes them look awful. It's just not a good situation to be in, and I don't see how Randy Lee recovers from this, and I don't see how the Sanders don't terminate his contract and fire him. Hockey operations-wise, Randy Lee's been a disaster, and I don't know why he's assistant general manager. It's too bad that the Sanders are going to get rid of Randy Lee likely because of a legal issue or a crime instead of just their common sense. But either way, it's good that Randy Lee's out because he's been an awful assistant general manager, but the way he's getting out is not ideal at all. Obviously not ideal, and there's not too much information right now. All we know is he was in jail last night. There's an allegation against him. He was charged with I believe I said already second degree harassment or something. And it's just a bad situation overall. And the likelihood of this whole situation is Randy Lee will probably be fired by the Ottawa Senators in the upcoming days. So this is something to monitor. And once again, does not put the Senators in the better things of public opinion. And you take a look at the fact that Randy Lee was the general manager of the Belleville Senators and now the Binghamton Senators and now the Belleville Senators for the last 4 years, and they're all teenagers, the players, and hopefully this is a one-time thing, and hopefully there's no more victims, hopefully there's no more allegations, etc. Because there's a big possibility that this stems throughout the whole organization. It's not just this one incident. This could be a repeating incident or offense, and it's too bad. It's just an awful situation, and we'll have to see what happens. Now let's get to the second part of the news today. The second bit of news for today is more of a rumor backed by some evidence. We'll get into that right now. At Project Smith on Twitter, Mike Smith, he tweeted out a little bit of a thread here about a potential sale of Ottawa Senators. Let's start it off at the beginning. Heavy rumor circulating the financial circle here in Ottawa. Senators owner Eugene Melnyk and the National Hockey League worked out a bridge loan. Payroll could not be met. The National Hockey League bridges the loan based on the Cirque ownership around the corner, which is leading to the next point. This confirms why more leaks are on the way from inner circles. Negotiations will be made public after the Stanley Cup final. If this rumor is true, the inner circle is speaking about Jim Watson and Alfie, etc. Ottawa now is a team that is being supported by the National Hockey League, a rumoredly. Behind the scenes, the National Hockey League cannot afford a bad story here. The only way the National Hockey League could bridge the loan by maintaining the BOG and franchise agreement was to handle it themselves. Look to Phoenix for president. Looks like the Cirque Group is pre-approved in this case to make the purchase. Remember, the last payment would have been made on April 30th to any player on the current roster. When would the loan have been issued? Was the financial problem a few months in the making, quote unquote? Has the team run out of credit? Question. That was an interesting tidbit there. Now, the Cirque du Soleil group, that is the opposing group bid against Eugene Melnyk's rendezvous bid for LeBreton Flats. That is backed by billionaires Andre Desmarais and Guy Laliberté, the co-founders of course, Cirque du Soleil. That was the back for the DC DLS bid for LeBreton Flats. They are worth over $2 billion, and Laliberté has been rumored or placed as a potential owner in the National Hockey League for the past few years. And, usually I won't make a video about these rumors, but there is some evidence here about a potential thing. I am going to put a couple of articles in the description for you to read yourself. But apparently Don Brennan, quote unquote, said that about this rumor a year ago that the Senators would be sold to that group. And there's a bunch of articles. If you look up Cirque du Soleil group or Cirque, or these, you look up Andre Desmarais, Guy Laliberté, and the LeBreton bid flats and sell and put sold or whatever. If you just search up something to do with this, you're going to find the articles about the fact that there's been rumored or just logically making sense of this happening. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I don't know if we can trust this source on Twitter. It's definitely something newsworthy though, because it's been the last couple of years this rumors have been happening, and the fact that Eugene Melnyk has been hesitant to say for sure that they're going to move downtown, I think, in my opinion, is a good example of how this could actually be true. You take a look at the fact. It seems like the fact that Brennan wrote about this rumor a year ago, apparently, and it's popping up again, with Stark apparently buying the Ottawa Senators, seems to me that the rumor would be legitimate. And going further with this, you know, what do you call it again? You know, hopefully it's legitimate, because I don't know how much more we can take, and I'm going to go further with this. So with the Melnyk comments of relocation to downtown, with Melnyk's comments of relocation to downtown isn't necessary or guaranteed, quote unquote, the sale to the other group may have played a factor in this point by Eugene Melnyk, in my opinion, because, you know, he didn't want to make it sound like, you know, he's a guy that doesn't want he thinks his image isn't ruined, but he doesn't want to ruin his image any further, I would assume. So what he probably did is he's going to say this. He said this. So when he sells the team, potentially to the Cirque du Soleil group and Andre Desmarais, etc., they keep the team in Ottawa, by the way, hopefully. It's so his image doesn't look bad, because if he would have said, no, we're gonna keep the team, we're gonna definitely move the team to LeBreton, and then he sells the team and makes him look like he's broke and he's in debt, etc., which he's been denying for years. So that's a big reason there. I will put in the link below, description below, the link to an article or two, especially one from CBC. And, you know, this is something to monitor. Stay tuned after the Stanley Cup Final, which is like over in a week and a half. And hopefully if we start seeing some more things leak, this rumor might be true. So we'll see what happens there. What a newsworthy day, though. What a day for Senators news on an off-season day. And the throw on top of all that, Philip Zadina is traveling to Ottawa to meet with Pierre Dorion and the rest of the staff the upcoming days. So this is a lot going on, and I'll see you guys soon. So thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Twitter at Senstalk _ live time updates of the games and of course breaking news. Please like us on Facebook at Senstalk, add our circles on Google Plus Senstalk, click the big red button down there and subscribe to us. Like this video, share this video wherever you share cool stuff. Please, please, please check out our website, senstalkcentral.com. We update that every single day. And of course, please check out our sponsor, StJohn.ca. Using the code SENSTALK to get discounts on your Senators tickets. Over here is to subscribe to us, recent upload, playlist, 2 playlists there. So please click on that. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon, and go Sens go.